Temperatures in the city soared that summer. Charlie's fiancée Margaret and her brother Henry visited the lab in August. "It's an oven in here. And it stinks. How can you work like this?" "Come on, darling. Time for a bit of fresh air." "Will you join us, Dr. Banting?" "Just getting the dogs. They need fresh air too."
"Would you mind taking some photos?" "Sure. Of you and Charlie? And the dogs, too, of course." "Say cheese."
Now some photos of just the pups. Marjorie's turn. "That's a good girl." "Why so many photos of the mutts?" "These dogs are heroes. I want them to be remembered. Their role in this research is just as important as ours. In some ways, maybe more so."
On August 31st, another one of their lab dogs had died. A collie only known as Dog 92. She had been a sweet dog, and her loss was especially heartbreaking for Fred. "I know this is hard, but we have to carry on. Think of all the lives we might... I need to be alone now. I'll never forget that dog as long as I live."
Dog 92 didn't die in vain. Sustained by injections of Islatin, she'd survived an incredible 20 days without a pancreas. It was by far the longest of any diabetic dog so far. Fred and Charlie were getting closer and closer to refining a version of their extract, one they hoped would be safe enough to try in humans. When Professor MacLeod returned from holidays, he was encouraged by the team's work. Very interesting. I'm willing to give you more time to keep this research going." "Yes! And salaries for both of us."
"We can't go on without getting paid." "All right, fine, but there's one more thing. Islatin is too hard to pronounce. I think this extract should be called insulin."
Over the next few months, Fred and Charlie continued to refine their extract while at the same time looking for better ways to produce it. Fred had the idea of salvaging cow pancreas from slaughterhouses. The organs were easy to find, and using them spared some of their dogs from surgery. In November, they presented the results of their research at the Journal Club of the University of Toronto Department of Physiology. We're here today to tell you about our exciting new discovery. News of their research buzzed through the medical community. People were hopeful but skeptical. They wanted more proof that this was really the breakthrough Fred and Charlie claimed it to be. I suggest you to conduct a long video experiment to prove how long you can actually keep a diabetic dog alive.
On November 18th, the experiment began. It was the final and most important test of Fred and Charlie's work. Fred chose Marjorie for the job. "You're going to convince all the doubters, Marjorie." A few days later, "That's my brave girl."
Days passed while they waited for the now diabetic Marjorie to prove their extract worked. Eager to push forward, Fred decided to inject himself with it too, to show the world that it's not toxic for humans. In case I'm wrong, please make sure my parents get this. It's an apology, should things go badly. Luckily for Fred, there were no ill effects, but Professor MacLeod wasn't impressed. That's not reliable enough proof. I'm going to invite James Collip to join our team. He's a biochemist and much more qualified than you to do the work of purifying the extract for humans.
With her daily injections of the extract, Marjorie stayed healthy and strong all through December. While the rest of the team went home to spend the holidays with their families, Fred and Marjorie celebrated Christmas together in the lab. Merry Christmas, Marjorie!
Nearing the end of January 1922, Marjorie had survived for almost 70 days without a pancreas. In Fred's opinion, it was the proof the medical world had asked for. It was now time to try their extract on a human patient. But there wasn't enough supply to keep a stray dog alive any longer. It was important to use what little they had for a child with diabetes.
Marjorie's work was done. She was a brave and generous dog. I'm sorry I couldn't offer you anything better, but one day the children you helped to save will hear your story and know your name.
Toronto Western Hospital, January 23rd, 1922. Leonard Thompson was 14 years old and weighed just 75 pounds. He was drifting in and out of a diabetic coma when he received his first injection of the newly purified insulin.
The effects were practically miraculous. Leonard began to improve almost immediately. Eager to get insulin into the hands of ailing parents as soon as possible, the team sold their rights to the life-saving treatment to the University of Toronto for $1 each. As Fred famously said, "Insulin does not belong to me, it belongs to the world."